My name is Donald. I'm with Universal Machining and Engineering, and I'm here to talk to you about this electrical tapping arm that is programmable, that will allow you to set your depth, set your speed to tap in, tap out. So we'll get into this here. So on this, you can set the size of your thread. So you have imperial, you have metric that you can set. These are standard coarse threads. So I'm going to go to 3/4, and that's a 10 TPI, and this machine converts it to metric to 2.54. Obviously 1 inch is 25.4, so 0.1 for a 10 TPI would be 2.54. So I set this to a feed speed in of 50 RPM, a rollback speed of 50. On this particular machine, it has a low RPM because it's a high torque machine. And so here you have the number of holes you've done. So if you have a plate that has like 75 holes and you do them all, and by the time you're done, you have a count of 74, then you have to pay attention and find out which one you missed. So that's one thing. You can also, if you're using a rigid collet, you can also set your maximum torque that you put in a value here in Newton meters, and that will stop the tap when it's going in, and as it reaches that torque, it will automatically back out. Now here you have different work modes you can put in. Don't understand that one yet, but anyways, we have tapping depth where you set how deep you're going to tap, and then you have manual or auto. So if you go to auto, you have a choice of doing tapping depth. It will basically, once you start, you press the down button, it will start the tapping, go 50 millimeters, and automatically retract. So if you drill your hole a little bit past the 50 millimeters, then you're not going to bottom out. So using a rigid holder will be safe. You can also do a deep hole operation where you can set your peck depth and your retract depth, so you can break your chips as you go in, as you do when you do it by hand. And then, so this would be for a deep hole operation. So you go back to ordinary, it will be auto. And for the demonstration here, I have a casting that I need to tap, basically 50 millimeters deep, but I'm 2 inches. So I'm going to go into manual mode and show you how we do it. So we have the machine here set on the vertical mode. So in order to make it into, this is a universal head. In order to do side holes, like I have to do on this casting, we release the head, and now it's free to turn and go up and down on an angle. If I was to remove this, it could go even more angle. But for the most part, we're going to be at 90 degrees, so it's going to be fine. So when you use this mode of universal head, it's kind of difficult to get perfect alignment because there's nothing holding it. It's almost like doing start a tapping hole by hand. So what we do is we start the tap in the machine, so we know we're perpendicular to this face. And then when it's time to finish it, because this is deep tap, they need to be 2 inch deep, and this is 2 inch deep up here. So we're basically burying the entire tap. And doing it on a machine is very risky because chips can get caught or whatever. And the machine is rigid tapping, so it will not give out if something gets stuck. So what we use here is a clutch type of tap holder. And now what I'm going to do is release it from the machine. And if you come around here, what we're going to do is we started by hand until and then I line up the tanks so it's easy to line up with the machine. And as I said before, we are on manual mode, so I can go forward and backwards easily. So back a little bit, and then once we reach the proper angle, you just push it in and it will click in. So now we're going to do the tapping. I'm not using any oil because this is a casting. It's essentially self-lubricating. So if you want to come and see here, you'll see how deep we ended up going on the tap. We're basically burying the whole thing. And now, if I was to go further, the clutch would engage, but I prefer not to do that. I'm just going to back out and do the second hole. Chips in the hole, and manually start the thread. There we go. Now, we're going to do the tapping here as well. You can see the chips coming off. We're using a spiral flute machine tap. You see the clutch engage? We got to the bottom. Now we're just going to retract. And this is how we do the tapping on these difficult parts to tap. We have this that prevents the CNC to get in with to do it with the thread milling. And we use tapping not as often as you would think, but on a manual shop you would use it a lot more because you have radar arm drills that have the tapping function, and you can have like big tapping heads that can handle different size of taps. But in this case here, normally on a CNC we would thread mill these, but because they're so deep and we have this part of the casting that's protruding, prevents us from getting the head and the tool holder close enough to do this particular one properly without having a very long, skinny, awkward setup. So we just started with a regular tap and then we continued with the tapping arm. So this allows us to do a job that can cause us grief by trying to do it all on the CNC, and by doing a second operation that is very straightforward and simple outside the machine, and be safe and not having to worry about having a broken tap in the casting. So that's it for the demonstration of this universal head that turns in two ways. And then, like I said, when you go to do the vertical, you put it back in its position where it has a position where it locks, and then now it's going to be a vertical, and this position is locked, and then you can tap vertically into a piece without having to have the pellet tap in there. So that's it for now, and thank you very much.